Vancouver, Vancouver. It's March the 6th, 2014, and from the Fortress of Solitude, this is Terminal City News. Blah, 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 Luongo, blah, 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 Canucks, blah, 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 hockey. Moving on. BC Federation of Labour leader Jim Sinclair is meeting with Labour Minister Shirley Bond this week to discuss raising the minimum wage to $13 an hour. The last wage increase was in May of 2012, and I can already hear skeptics complaining that we just had a wage increase, so why do we have to have another one? The fact of the matter is really twofold. Number one, the cost of living has continued to increase, and indeed the union wants the wage to be tied to the cost. And two, the last wage increase didn't spell doom for businesses as was threatened the decade previously and didn't crash the economy. I have no hope for this going through, though. There's no doubt in my mind that Sinclair is going to leave the meeting unhappy, and we'll be hearing all about it next week, and then not at all for a couple more years. There's really only one way to catch their attention and disarm them, though.
Tell me, Christy, can you live off of the minimum wage? I don't think so. I demand you raise minimum wage to $75 per hour. In return, I shall allow you to return to office. If you fail to do so, I will allow British Columbia to consume itself in anarchy. The choice is yours.
51-year-old Lanley teacher Richard Sapinski has handed in his teaching certificate after admitting to having a sexual relationship with a student in 2009 through to 2011. He stated it all started while counseling the girl through her depression as she was self-harming all the time, and it wound up counseling all the way to his bed. They ended up boning for the next 2 years. Sapinski, we've all been there, lusting after 17-year-old girls, although most of us were 17 ourselves at the time, and not teaching them and not old enough to be their grandfathers. Kudos to you for quitting and segregating yourself away from the students. Now you should do the honorable thing and just enroll as a prof at a community college. The girls are legal there and still young enough to be your granddaughters. After 150 years, the Williams Lake Indian Band has been recognized by a federal tribunal as being wronged by the colony of BC, the British colony of BC, whatever it used to be. Apparently some settlers came in and took a massive portion of Williams Lake away from the band, and the British colony did nothing to rectify this concern. And then that problem was inherited back when Canada absorbed BC into Confederation. Canadian history is really boring. But Chief Anne Louis was elated by the news, but the federal government has until the end of the month to decide if they are going to appeal that decision. Knowing the Tories, they won't appeal, but will simply build a pipeline through Williams Lake and flood it with oil. You want it back, guys? Here, take it. Have some money on the side. Help us build it too. Help us build it and have some money, and it's fine. But the land's yours now. This is astounding. School District 41 in Burnaby has started proposing plans for how to deal with pipeline emergencies. Besides earthquake and fire drills, teachers could now be educating students on what to do when that inevitable pipeline leak happens near a school. And don't shake your head too hard. In 2007, there was a leak in Burnaby, and the Westridge community was taken unawares and unsure what to do. Have we really gotten to this point, though? People are legitimately terrified of these pipelines for good reason. It would be one thing if their fears were unjustified or statistically unlikely, but my God, look at the track record and the leaks and the spills that we've seen so far. This industry is being given the same treatment as an act of God natural disaster. I had actually written out several punchlines for this, but the situation is kind of silly enough, really. A passenger on a Westjet flight from Calgary to Victoria was taken unawares himself and a little infuriated when he found out that the person piloting his plane was a woman. He left a lengthy note on a napkin, left it behind for the cleaning crew to find after the flight was over because he was too cowardly to hand it in himself, condemning WestJet for allowing women into the cockpit. The pilot then posted the note on Facebook as well as her own response, saying it's no longer referred to as a cockpit but a flight deck, and basically giving him a really, really good chewing out. I think the passenger, he's probably, pushing 90 at this point. And so as it stands, airplanes are kind of a new and frightening thing to him as is. And that aspect that anyone under the age of 50 who doesn't have a penis flying an airplane is just actually far too frightening. And this whole WestJet oh, we call you by your first name and everybody's a shareholder. This is really too much for the old man. He probably almost had a heart attack and died. That's all I got. Last year, Terminal City News reported that Dude Chillin Park was apparently going to become a thing. Well, it is official now. Those of you who have been watching community news around Vancouver have noted that now it is official. Dude Chillin Park is actually a thing in Vancouver, which means that the municipality has officially recognized it. You can now go to Google Maps probably and type in Dude Chillin Park, and it will zoom on in to Vancouver. And hey, look, Dude Chillin Park is actually a thing. This is amazing. Of course, if you typed in Dude Chillin Park into Apple Maps, it would probably take you to the Pyramids of Giza. And that's all for now, folks. We will see you next week. Happy birthday, Dad.